There was plenty on the line Friday night at Lovely Stadium as fourth-ranked Central Catholic paid a visit to number 10 Andover. Central was hoping to clinch at least a share of the MVC Large title, while a victory by the Golden Warriors would keep alive a chance for a three-way tie that would include Tewksbury. My name is Bruce Lurch with the Boston Herald. Before the fans even had much time to get settled in, the offensive fireworks started as Central quarterback Brett Edwards finds a wide-open Steven Jackson right over the middle of the field. Jackson would take it the rest of the way for a 61-yard touchdown on the Raiders' very first play from scrimmage. Andover has a prolific offense of its own, and just 2 plays later, quarterback E.J. Perry hooks up with wideout Andrew Susi, who wins the battle down the left sideline and takes it in the rest of the way for a 49-yard score to tie things up at 7-7. Now let's jump ahead to the second quarter as E.J. Perry and running back Perry Wynn teamed up to march Andover 64 yards downfield in 10 plays, a drive that ended with Wynn finishing it with a goal line touchdown. 2 possessions later, back comes Central Catholic as Edwards strikes big again, this time hooking up with Matthias Villafane for a 37-yard score. That tied the game once again at 14 apiece. Disaster struck for Andover on the ensuing kickoff as the Raiders' Mac Thomas forces a fumble that was recovered by Johandi Gonzalez at the Warrior 5. Following a Central penalty, Edwards went back to work with Jackson, this time hitting his star wideout for a 10-yard touchdown. Jackson would finish with 128 yards on 9 receptions. Edwards put together a big first half in his own right with the 3 touchdown passes, and the sophomore went on to finish with 227 yards on 14 of 22 passing. Raiders coach Chuck Adamopoulos talked about his young signal caller.
He's smooth and he's calm and nothing really phases him. And even he throws a pick and he comes right back to the next series and he's good again. I'm really thrilled with him and he's an awesome kid to coach. He doesn't have an ego and I give a lot of credit to John Sexton, our offensive coordinator, who coaches our quarterbacks. He's done a really good job of it.
If the first half was Air Edwards, and Central turned the second half into ground chuck with a heavy-sided defense. The only points in the third came off a 20-yard field goal by Central's Stefano Calvagno, but the Raiders' defense seemed to lock itself in, managed to keep Andover off the scoreboard over the final 29.5 minutes. Back to ground chuck for a moment as the Raiders tacked on a final score, courtesy of a 40-yard touchdown run by Robert Fitzgerald with 5 minutes and 28 seconds left to go. Fellow running back Omar Deschamps did the bulk of the work in the second half, picking up 100 of his game-high 128 rushing yards in the second half as well. Always strong defensively, Central Catholic had a first-quarter interception by Jackson, as well as a fourth-quarter pick by Gonzalez that actually led directly to Fitzgerald's big touchdown run that we just showed you. The Raiders were strong up front as well. Defensive tackle Carlos Cabrera recorded 2 of the Raiders' 4 sacks, with linebacker Alex Parent and Deschamps getting the other 2. The end result was a 30-14 victory for Central, clinching a share of the MVC Large title and giving the Raiders a chance to win the league outright with a win over Lowell next week.
We talk about our season of phases. Phase 1 is the MVC race. We put a lot of stock in it. Next week is big to win outright, but it's also big to give us a little bit of a catapult into Phase 2, the playoffs.